Hey everybody, welcome back to Willson Builds. If you're new here, I'm Zach. Thanks for tuning in. If you're returning from a previous video, you guys are awesome. I really appreciate the support. Today we're going to be going inside the interior of the Roadster. I guess you would call it the interior. It is an open car. And we're going to be working on some of the supports, hopefully getting out the floor that I kind of screwed up on, but we'll go further into that in the video. Alright guys, like I said in the intro, we're going to be changing a lot of stuff in here today. I'm going to be redoing all of these bars except the main kind of support bars here and here, but everything in between can be making it nice and close to the transmission and just make it look cleaner. I'm really disappointed in my workmanship actually. It's been really bugging me, especially stuff like that, but it is what it is, and hopefully we'll be able to get a drive shaft tunnel in. I'm going to be taking that out as well. I really hate this. There's some interesting, marks like that because this was my first ever bead roll attempt, and now I've learned so much about bead rolling. I mean, not a lot, but enough to know I need to pre-stretch this with the plenishing hammer and just kind of work it differently. So we're gonna get in here and start cutting those, and then re-sculpting all our supports, and go from there. We're now going to take our measurements from kind of the front brace here to here. And what I did before is I actually made the one over here come in a bit more, and this one was a bit shorter. And that was just because of the shifter, but I'm going to make them even on both sides, and we'll worry about the gap when we build the transmission tunnel piece. So I measured this to here and that to there, and they are even. So we just have to figure out the cross here, and it is 15.5. Let's just double check. Yeah, 15.5. So I'm gonna go cut some 1-inch square tubing, and then we'll just tack it in there and reassess sort of where we want to go. I had a lot of braces in here before, but truthfully I don't think I need them. I think they're a little overkill, so we're gonna be a little bit more frugal with the cross bracing just because it's not really needed. And we're gonna have to, where I put these pieces of tape here, I'm gonna have to do tubing across here to build our transmission tunnel and have that safe and skookum. So let's go get our 1-inch tubing. I'm gonna cut it to 15.5 like I said, and we'll have it tacked in. All right, so I'm focusing on this side more because I have to worry about the shifter lever here. So I can get into place and just run the shifter through all the gears and see if I run into any issues. There's good clearance there. It gets pretty close there, but I think that's the closest we can actually run it. Try to get it. So we're about 1/8 right now. Good clearance when it's actually in gear. The only time it's actually questionably close is when it's in park, where it won't matter. So happy with that. It's 13.5, just a quarter difference. All right, so this is all lined up. These are even on both sides. I measured from here to here, and I did a cross one. So I'm gonna get these level and tack them in, and then we'll think about what we're doing next. we're just gonna hop in here and start cutting out our welds now from the floorboard that we already put in. We got our gas tank today from RCI. It's 15-gallon top feed, super pumped on that. But we'll go into more detail when we start installing this. Now we're just gonna focus on cleaning all the old welds up. So I'm just gonna get my metal blender and just hit it across, make it all even. All right guys, so if you saw the video of me raising the motor, I had to raise the entire motor 1.5 inches, meaning the tail shaft is up 1.5 inches, bringing it closer to this middle bar, and I believe the drive shaft would actually make contact with this, so we have to figure a transmission tunnel out. I figured I would cut the bottom off this metal rectangular tubing 2x6 and essentially just make a tunnel out of that instead of fabricating tunnel. Tons of strength and rigidity here, and you're never gonna see it because of the seat, which is great. So I can take this out to the vise now and just cut on both sides, and we'll reassess once that's all cut. All right, so we got the bottom all cut off now. So this is kind of what I was talking about if you didn't understand. And we can put it right in here. And I think I'm gonna get some of this flat bar. I kind of cut it to size here. And run it along here, like so. And kind of put our tunnel like that. So then we have something to weld to along here. It's not just free floating. And then we can butt our floors right up to the flat bar. So we're gonna go in the trunk now and start working on our supports back here to start building kind of our surroundings so we don't see anything sort of in here anymore. So I think I'm gonna have to raise it because I am gonna be lowering the rear end at least 3 to 4 inches just to get that nice kind of profile on the wheel tub and the tire itself. So I'm just trying to think of where to start. I think the best way to do it would be doing our supports across to kind of behind the seat, and then we can start plotting out where our gas tank's gonna go. So essentially what I like to do is create a floor, or a raised floor I should say, and bring it all the way to here. So that being said, I'm gonna get a piece. This is just a temporary piece, we won't be using this one. Essentially bring it sort of like this. And then the gas tank will go on top of that. Hopefully we can build a bit of a false wall here, make this trunk area look really nice, have tools and battery and so on and so forth. So I think our first step is cutting and making sure we have a level surface to work with here. So I think I'm gonna make this out of 1 inch tubing because we have 1 inch already and it'll just be nice. And then we can use this half to maybe connect to the upper body, and then we can put our whatever paneling we do for inside the trunk. All right, 30 inches. Okay, so let's see how the piece wants to go in here. I think that would be pretty nice. Let's get a level on here. I don't like the cars too level anyways, but interesting. That was not meant to be, but a mark that I've made previously and that bar that it's kind of conjoined to there is exactly level. So that actually flukily, is that flukily a word? It's fluke that it's working. So hopefully that's the exact case on the other side. It is weird. Okay, so that's gonna work. So we have our place for our bar, which is much easier than I expected. Okay, so now I'm gonna get all the measurements and I'm gonna build support across. I think I'm gonna do 2. 1, 2. Take measurements for our gas tank because this angles up, so the gas tank has to sit a little bit further out than this so it doesn't make contact with the supports here. What I'm gonna do is just weld at 3 inches and probably at, I don't know, 9 inches, and then we can play with it and push it back and forth. So I'm gonna get the measurement from side to side, and they're gonna vary because this narrows. So one side we are 39 3/4, and then we'll do another few up here, and we're at 39 1/4. Okay, so we can try our gas tank in there now. Oop, wrong way. Okay, so it's touching, which is fine. I'd like to pull it out a little bit so it's not making full contact, like friction contact. It's looking pretty good. Okay, so gas tank's fitting in there good. I like the clearance we have on both sides. I like the top clearance. It's gonna fit there real nice. That bar we just tacked in, I'm gonna have to pull up a little bit just to be more sturdy. But other than that, it's fitting pretty good. But I'm gonna get that bar moved tomorrow because it's getting pretty late and I'm hungry. Okay, so we have a little bit better of an idea where our gas tank's gonna go. Give that a measure. How many more inches we're going back? 3.5. And then we're looking at 3.5 on that side as well. Pull this gas tank out. So I'm just gonna have to cut this bar out, unless I can just twist it out. It's not that. Nope. And then we just have to cut one side because it narrows, like I said. So give it a cut. Okay, so how are we looking now? Ah, nice. Get it off the wall there a bit. All squared up. I don't know side to side, but it looks pretty in the middle. So that works actually pretty good. Now that we have our gas tank in place, I don't trust myself enough to weld tabs on, so I'm gonna take it to my friend to weld tabs on. So we're gonna have to mark that where we want our L brackets. On my 55, I rubber mounted it, so I kind of sandwiched the bracket and then a piece of rubber and then what it was fastening to. Don't know if that's necessary, but we're gonna do it just for peace of mind. I think we can now jump into building the rest of the kind of supports back here with our tubing. I would like to go up into here too, so I can put something like upholstered or, I don't know, bead rolled nice on this kind of surface so I can cover the wheel wells, as well as doing the floor so no debris comes in the car. So I'm gonna focus on that next and hopefully think of some stuff because I have a kind of hazy thought of what I wanna do, but we'll have to just figure it out as we go. So I think first things first, I'm going to do a connecting bar back here. So I'm going to just measure this gap here. Let's see if I can actually bend my tape up here. Yeah, 36 3/4. So we'll get that piece in, get it level. Okay, so we put the gas tank in, and since it kind of pulls past the threshold of the kind of where this is, we can't really build like a wall to cover it unless we built something that went kind of up and then 45'd. So I'm gonna not worry about that right now, but I am gonna worry about the sides here. So we're gonna get a piece of our 1/2" tubing and just weld from up, I think, so we can actually get access to it so we're not reaching in the gas tank if we ever need to pull these out. I think like right about there would be good. And then since, I mean, there's going to be lots of, I don't know how thick we're going to go. So if it's, you know, we do a point here where we can drill to and essentially put a bolt through there, and a bolt through the front section. I think only one will be appropriate here. My idea right now is to go with a piece of plywood. Just because it's easy to get the angle and very easy to upholster. So I think right there is going to be good. So let's get a basic measurement here. All right, let's see if my measurement was correct. Okay, so there's our brace. So essentially, like I said, all I'm gonna do is probably drill up, middle, maybe down, and kind of the same here. Make it look good, of course, and just put a riv nut in there. And yeah, and then essentially we're just putting a bolt and putting a panel in there. So super simple, it'll look pretty cool. Obviously we have to worry about the floor first. Now time to fill in this void. So luckily, this is my scraps and it is perfect, like to fit in this gap that we need. So I'm gonna do one across and one on either side. So I'm gonna take our gas tank back out. Oh no, I think it's, oh, that cross piece is like 3/4 and this is 1 inch, so it's gonna look weird. That's too bad. That's perfect size. Oh well. I do have more of that, so we will use more of that. All right, guys, so here we are. We have it all basically where we want it. Have to finish the welding, of course. When I pull it, the body off the frame, we'll be coating all this and grinding it, make it all look nice. I think we're gonna do sheet metal for the surface on here. I don't know what we're gonna do on the sides yet. There's no structure or rigidity. It's strictly for looks, so I'm not too worried. That being said, we still have to fit a battery in here and a couple other little accessories, but not a big deal. All right, guys, I'm gonna cut the video there. Thank you so much for tuning in to Willson Builds. We got a lot done on the interior of the car today. Super happy where we got to. Hope you guys are as well. If you guys can like, comment, subscribe, that really motivates me to keep making these videos for you guys and helps me build my channel. So until then, we'll see you guys next time.